Hello everybody! If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 490. The Great British Tea Disaster. Intermediate. Nigel was a proud Englishman who believed three things. The Queen was fabulous, football was life, and tea was the answer to everything. If you had a bad day, tea. If you won the lottery, tea. If aliens landed in your garden, definitely tea. His love for tea was so deep that he owned 47 teacups, each with a different floral pattern, and a kettle that whistled like an opera singer. One sunny afternoon in his small village, Nigel decided to host a tea party. Not just any tea party, a legendary tea party to impress his new neighbour, Penelope, who had just moved from London. Penelope was posh, with shiny hair and a laugh that sounded like wind chimes. Nigel was smitten. He wanted to show her he was sophisticated, not just the village weirdo who named his teacups. He sent out invitations to his mates. Dave, who always wore socks with sandals, Karen, who talked to her plants, and old Mr. Jenkins, who claimed he once wrestled a cow. The plan was simple: serve perfect tea, cucumber sandwiches, and scones so fluffy they'd float away. Nigel spent all morning polishing his teacups, especially his favourite, Daisy, a cup with pink roses that he swore made tea taste better. The trouble started when Nigel realised he'd run out of his fancy Earl Grey tea. No problem, he thought, racing to the village shop. But the shop only had builder's brew, a tea so strong it could wake a coma patient. Nigel shrugged. "It'll do," he said, grabbing 5 packets. Back home, he boiled the kettle, but it started whistling so loudly it sounded like a foghorn. Dave arrived first, tripping over Nigel's cat, Marmalade, who yowled and knocked over a tray of biscuits. "Mate, your cat's a ninja!" Dave laughed, picking shortbread crumbs off his socks. Karen arrived next, carrying a fern she insisted needed socialising. Mr. Jenkins shuffled in, muttering about how tea was better in 1973. Penelope arrived last, looking like she'd stepped out of a magazine. Nigel's heart did a somersault. "Welcome," he said, a bit too loudly, spilling tea on his trousers. Penelope smiled politely, and Nigel prayed she didn't notice the wet patch. The tea was poured, but Nigel had made a terrible mistake. Builder's brew was so strong it looked like tar. Dave took a sip and coughed. "Blimey, Nigel, this tea could strip paint." Karen sipped hers and whispered to her fern, "Don't worry, you don't have to drink it." Mr. Jenkins downed his in one go, declared, "It's smashing," and then fell asleep in his chair. Nigel panicked. Penelope hadn't touched her tea. Desperate to impress, he offered her a scone. But when he opened the tin, Marmalade leapt onto the table, grabbed a scone and sprinted off. The table wobbled and Nigel's precious Daisy teacup flew into the air. Time slowed as everyone watched it soar and crash into Penelope's lap. "Oh bugger," Nigel yelped, diving to save the cup, but it was too late. Tea soaked Penelope's dress and Daisy was in pieces. Penelope blinked, then burst out laughing. "Well, that's one way to make tea exciting," she said, wiping tea off her skirt. Nigel wanted to disappear, but Penelope, still chuckling, said, "Nigel, this is the most fun I've had since moving here. Let's clean up and try again." Dave suggested they switch to beer. Karen's fern got a splash of tea, and Mr. Jenkins woke up shouting, "Where's the cow?" The party was a disaster, but Penelope stayed, helping Nigel glue Daisy back together. By evening they were all laughing, eating slightly soggy sandwiches and drinking weak instant coffee because Nigel's kettle had finally given up. Penelope winked at Nigel. "Next time I'll bring the tea," she said. Nigel grinned. Maybe disasters weren't so bad after all. Vocabulary notes. Smitten, adjective. Definition: having a strong feeling of love, affection or fascination for someone, often suddenly. Example: Nigel was smitten. This shows Nigel's sudden and strong romantic feelings for Penelope. Example sentence: when Sarah saw Tom playing the guitar, she was smitten and couldn't stop thinking about him. Similar words: infatuated, feeling a strong but often short-lived attraction. E.g., he was infuriated with the new actress in the film. Enamored, having a liking or affection for someone or something. E.g., she was enamored with the idea of living in Paris. Charmed, delighted or attracted by someone's qualities. E.g., the audience was charmed by the speaker's humour. Note for learners: smitten is often used in romantic context and suggests a sudden, intense feeling. Posh, adjective. Definition: elegant, stylish or fashionable, often associated with wealth or high social status. Example: Penelope was posh, with shiny hair and a laugh that sounded like wind chimes. This describes Penelope's sophisticated and elegant appearance and behaviour. Example sentence: the posh restaurant served tiny portions of food on huge plates. Similar words: elegant, graceful and stylish in appearance or manner. E.g., she wore an elegant dress to the party. Sophisticated, having refined tastes or worldly knowledge. E.g., his sophisticated manners impressed everyone. Classy, stylish and high quality. E.g., the hotel had a classy atmosphere with chandeliers and marble floors. Note for learners: posh is often used in British English to describe people or things that seem wealthy or refined, sometimes with a slight humorous tone. Blimey, interjection. Definition: an expression of surprise, excitement or alarm, commonly used in British English. Example: blimey Nigel, this tea could strip paint. Dave uses this to express shock at how strong the tea is. Example sentence: blimey, I didn't expect it to rain this much today. Similar words: crikey, another British exclamation of surprise. E.g., crikey, that was a close call. Goodness, a milder expression of surprise or concern. E.g., goodness, you scared me. Wow, a general exclamation of amazement or surprise. E.g., wow, that cake looks amazing. Note for learners: blimey is informal and very British. It's used in casual conversation to show strong emotion, often surprise. Scone, noun. Definition: a small lightly sweetened bread or cake, often served with tea in Britain, typically eaten with butter, jam or cream. Example: desperate to impress, he offered her a scone. Nigel tries to serve Penelope a scone to make the tea party more appealing. Example sentence: at the cafe they served warm scones with strawberry jam and clotted cream. Similar words: biscuit, a small baked good, sometimes similar to a scone but often crispier. E.g., she baked biscuits for the picnic. Pastry, a food made from dough, often sweet or flaky. E.g., the bakery had delicious pastries filled with fruit. Bun, a small round bread, sometimes sweet. E.g., he bought a sticky bun for breakfast. Note for learners: scone is pronounced either scone or scone in British English, and it's a key part of traditional British tea culture. Yowled, verb, past tense of yowl. Definition: to make a loud wailing sound, often associated with cats expressing distress or anger. Example: Dave arrived first, tripping over Nigel's cat, Marmalade, who yowled and knocked over a tray of biscuits. The cat makes a loud noise after being disturbed. Example sentence: the cat yowled when its tail got caught in the door. Similar words: howled, a loud prolonged cry, often by dogs or wolves, e.g. the dog howled at the moon all night. Screeched, a high-pitched sharp sound, e.g. the parrot screeched when someone entered the room. Wailed, a loud mournful cry, often by humans or animals, e.g. the baby wailed until her mother picked her up. Note for learners: yowled is specific to loud animal sounds, especially cats, and adds a vivid description to a scene. Disaster, noun. Definition: a sudden event that causes a lot of damage, trouble, or failure. Example: the party was a disaster, but Penelope stayed, helping Nigel glue Daisy back together. The tea party goes wrong in many ways, making it a failure. Example sentence: the picnic was a disaster because it rained all day and the food got wet. Similar words: catastrophe, a major disaster or failure, e.g. the wedding was a catastrophe when the cake fell over. Fiasco, a complete and embarrassing failure, e.g. the school play was a fiasco because everyone forgot their lines. Calamity, a serious event causing distress or destruction, e.g. the storm was a calamity for the small village. Note for learners: disaster is a strong word for when things go very wrong, often used humorously for smaller failures, like in the story. Story written by Grok 3 AI. Image created by Grok 3 AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Hello, this is Steve. If you enjoyed the story, please would you take the time to leave a meaningful comment and click on the like icon. If you want to know when the next story has been uploaded, please click on the notify bell icon to be notified. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tell your English learning friends so they can benefit too. Thank you.